once again, same spot. Even windier today than when we shot the video for the Crown Vic, so this might be a slightly different video. I may have to just do a bunch of exterior shots and then go and film some audio for the inside, voiceover style. Oh, we are going to take a look at this real fast. That's nice. Yeah, that's how you Sunday drive on a Saturday. Pandemic, every day is a Sunday, boys and girls. Okay, so this is my 1998 Ford F-150. As you see it, is as I bought it. It was already lifted and done well. It already had these BF Goodrich tires that are basically brand spanking new. It already had the Dixie Peck wheels, and they were already dipped black. The dip is fading. We'll fix that. That's fine. I have done nothing to this vehicle aside from fix it, and I'm going to fix it a bit more, but overall I stole this from the Ford dealership and it's their fault. Let's find out why. Let's find out how.
What you're looking at here is a base model pickup truck. It's got the V8, but other than that it is completely devoid of options. There's no power windows, there's no power locks, there's no carpet. It is a 5-speed, which of course back then was cheaper. That was back before the industry decided that nobody needed to learn how to shift their cars anymore. It has been lifted. It does have aftermarket wheels and tires. It does have window tint. It does have a bed liner and a hitch. The headlights are brand spanking new. Taillights are brand spanking new. Why did I get a pickup truck? As I've established in the past, and maybe even by my videos, I'm more of a sports car kind of guy. I like sedans, sports sedans specifically, or vehicles that can be made to go very fast. I'm not really a truck guy. However, the first vehicle I owned was a 93 S10, 5-speed actually. So like this, but smaller in Chevy. And then I had an 85 Suburban, which, whoo, you want to talk about a big vehicle that I really wish I had now. I let go of it for like $5,000, and that thing's probably worth about $15,000 now, because people love the big boxy vehicles. When I went to get this vehicle, I wanted to find a 97 or older Ford because it had the boxy body. I didn't realize that I'm not the only person who feels that way, that everyone all of a sudden really wants to buy square trucks. Don't look at that. Yeah, okay. I needed a pickup truck for plans that I had in place that are still sort of in place. I really literally just went looking for the cheapest full-size pickup truck in the general area. I have a customer at the club who works at the local Ford dealership. He's a great guy. I called him up and I said, hey, I'm looking for the cheapest pickup truck you've got. And he told me, yeah, we got this one. It's from Canada. It's a real junker, but the engine's fine, so we can sell it to you for like $2,200. I was like, perfect. I mean, it's cheap. That's fine. That's all I care about. I get out to the dealership. He's not even there yet. I don't know if he was on lunch break or maybe he just hadn't shown up, because I thought I got there relatively early. He shows up and he's like, yeah, so somebody's buying it. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I walked all over the dealership just looking at other vehicles while he was dealing with a customer that he had, was going to make money on the sale. I found the truck, and holy hell was it a piece of crap. It was mostly rust. And when the guy who was buying it started it, I noticed the entire truck was shaking like a paint can. So we popped the hood without anybody around, and I realized all the motor mounts are busted. Like all of them. It was bad, and it was running rough. And so I was like, you know what? I'm glad you're buying it and not me. I was almost willing to pay a bit more to buy, like, a newer vehicle, a better truck. Somebody must have overheard us talking, because then all of a sudden he gets this notification that they had just taken a truck in on trade the day before. It was still in the back. It hadn't really even been processed yet. It was not technically available for sale yet. They hadn't even inspected it, allegedly. He told me to go take a look at it. I had to walk like way back to the very back of this place, like a service road, and it was parked like off the service road where there's like a row of vehicles they'd just taken in trade. Had a big sticker that said, do not sell. And it was this. As soon as I saw it, I went, wow. It's already lifted. Those are brand spanking new tires. I don't really know much about off-road wheels, so I didn't know anything about Dixie Peck wheels, but I knew they were aftermarket wheels. I liked the black wheel look. It was, at the time I still had my Dodge, and I love silver vehicles, black wheels. And so I was like, oh, cool, it's going to match my pickup truck, and it was going to match what I was going to do when I ordered the trailer as well. I then find this list in the vehicle with a list of all the things that are wrong with it. Oil leak, trans leak, rear end leak, airbag light, runs rough, EGR problems, play in front wheel bearings. I look at this list while I'm waiting for my buddy, and I realize I could check some of this right now. Well, first off, it's manual, so I doubt the trans is leaking, and I got underneath to look at bone dry. There's nothing leaking out of the gearbox at all. I then got up underneath the front, and there's no oil leak anywhere. It was bone dry. I checked the oil. There's oil in it, so it's not like it had completely run out or anything. That one I was kind of questioning. Rear end leak, again, the pumpkin completely bone dry. Airbag light. All right, well, that's slightly concerning. Not so much for me at the time because I hadn't had my accident. Now that I've gone through a pretty bad accident, actually I'm still pretty much on the fence about that because the airbags are what injured me, not the car accident. Runs rough. Okay, we'll see. I have mechanics. EGR problems. Same thing. Play in front wheel bearings. Okay, again, all fixable. My guy comes to me and he says, it's got a bunch of problems. I showed him the list and I told him that I already knew about that. He told me that their mechanic, who had given it a once over, had said that he wanted to buy it. And a light went off in my head. I was like, oh, really? So I see a bunch of problems that don't actually exist on this truck, but they're on the list. And the mechanic who found the problems puts enough stuff on the list to make it possibly not easy for them to sell it, but oh, hey, he'll buy it at wholesale, of course. So I said, not a problem, let's test drive it. We take it out for a test drive. Does not run rough. Not at the time. It did later. I noticed no play in the front wheel bearings. We got on it pretty good. It never leaked oil anywhere. I mean, when I got back to it, we checked everything else. Everything looked fine. So I said, you know what? Give me a price. A little bit of haggling, and this time I was able to pull an Ed Bullion, and we settled right in the middle at my price of $1,800, plus tax, tag, and title. But still, $1,800. I then did a little bit of research. The wheels and tires on this vehicle, and like I said, the tires were brand new. They still had the nubs on them, like even sticking up on the roadway. Like they had put these BF Goodriches on it and then sold it. The tires and wheels alone are almost $2,000, plus the lift kit, plus the head unit, which was a DVD player, Pioneer thing, and the vehicle itself had stuff on it worth significantly more than what I paid for it. So it's a win, in my opinion. Hell, even if the engine blew and I had to junk it, I would just pull off all the things, take it to the junkyard, go find another truck, and put all the things on it, and yay, I got a nice truck. I assume that the slight rough running is from the spark plugs. I figured it just needs two spark plugs. So I took it to my mechanic and have them actually fully tested out. The airbag was literally just a fuse. Turns out I've got a manifold gasket leak where I'm leaking fluid into the number 1 tube, which is shorting out the spark plug there. I mean, it's intermittent. It's like a $1,200 repair to do it right. Or I can just do it myself. I was getting ready to do it when I had the car accident, which sort of sidelined me for a while. As I was driving it, the front left brake caliper came off. That was the wheel that had the wheel bearing issue. It basically just needed to be repacked. Also, the axle boot on the front left side was also torn. It wasn't bad. It wasn't even spewing crap everywhere, but it was torn. It needed to be replaced. With service in one area, I just had them do it all at one time. It's the only real service that's been done to this vehicle. They agree with me that this is the driest 220,000 mile Ford V8 they've ever seen. No oil leaks, nothing leaking out of the transmission, nothing leaking out of the rear end. So I'm not going to tow with it until I get the engine squared away. Obviously, I don't want to put any stress on it while it's leaking. I also don't drive this too much. It's not exactly good on gas. You thought I was complaining about the gas mileage in the Crown Vic. Whoo, boy, this is like 10, 11 miles to the gallon, and I believe probably worse on the highway. I've only taken the highway once. So as I stated, this vehicle already came with aftermarket wheels and tires. These are Dick CPEC, I believe these are DCs. They currently sell DC2s. They've also been painted black. They're dipped. Those are, as you can see in the second rear wheel, the dip is coming off. I believe that they just used simple plasti dip instead of the hyper dip that you can buy that is specifically designed for going on wheels. I will get around to redoing those at some point. The tires are BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. They're about the best you could get for all-terrain. I'm quite happy with the wheel and tire package on this vehicle. The tires were brand spanking new when I bought the vehicle. The wheels, not so, but the wheels are in great condition anyway, I assume. I mean, they're painted black. They look great. They're going to get redone. They'll look good again. The lift kit was already put on it as well. There are spindles in the front and shocks in the back. It's a little bit rough on the ride. However, what do you expect? I do love the fact that the wheels stick out a little bit, just enough to be beefy and awesome looking, but not so much that it's throwing crap all over the side of the car. So thank you, previous owner. When it comes to the paint on this vehicle, there is a lot that needs to be addressed. This whole hood is just scratched and sun faded to hell, as you can see. It's a pickup truck, though. There's a little bit of acceptance of that. It just adds character. Like what you would never accept on your passenger car, it just looks fine on your truck. There's big gouges in the side here. You got damage from where the bed liner touched it. We get up here, we take a look at the roof. The roof is very sun faded. I'm sure this actually could be relatively easily fixed. Again, this is not a show truck. Maybe someday down the road when I've got tons of money, I'll make sure that this is just as pretty as everything else, but this would literally be the last vehicle on the list. The tailgate's obviously seen a lot of abuse, which I just don't understand that one. People always back into things with their tailgate down. There isn't a single panel on this vehicle that doesn't have some form of paint damage. I believe the right front quarter panel might actually be the prettiest part of the entire car. Bumper is still pretty good, though. Both bumpers, very healthy. There is enough clearance underneath this lifted vehicle that I don't need to jack it up to get underneath it to work on it at all. The exhaust on this vehicle, just like on the Crown Vic, is one of my favorite features. It was done by the same company that did the Crown Vic, and I'm going to give them a quick shout out. It's Daytona Catalytic. They did a custom catback exhaust on this vehicle using a Flowmaster Series 10. I got a 1-into-2 muffler put on it. They gave me everything all the way back, including those black tips, which I very much love. And this thing sounds amazing. It burbles and it pops and it is angry, and I love it. Let's take a listen. So the interior on this vehicle is exactly what you would expect from a 1998 base model pickup truck, with a couple little flares, some nice additions. This is the lowest level you can get. Crank windows, no carpet, no power locks. Obviously the interior is chewed up a bit. That happens. However, the guy who had this, or somebody who had this before me, did some upgrades. This is like black suede that's been put in the doors. It's been put in this dash insert here. It's very nice. It's a little worn right here where you put your arm, so obviously it wasn't just done before I bought the vehicle, but still most of it is very comfortable, and I'm glad it was done. It also adds a nice two-tone color to it. The headliner was also redone in normal headliner material, but you notice there are no visors. They didn't even put a spot for them to go in. Now they did at least put the hooks back in here, which is nice. Appreciate that, because, you know, everyone with a pickup truck is always hanging their suit coats as they're on their way to the office. 222,000 miles means it's just getting broken in. It's just finally starting to find its life. Honestly, for that much mileage, the minimal amount of damage that has been done mechanically is pretty good. So it does have a 60-40 split bench seat, which, you know, is a nice throwback. These speakers, if we can get close enough so that you can see, they're not factory. See that blue S right there? That is an Alpine speaker. So it's got aftermarket speakers, quite nice, which is also very handy because there are no speakers in the back. There are none. There's no wiring. It is just empty back there. It's very nice to have some quality front fill. This vehicle came with a Pioneer head unit, not this one. The Pioneer head unit that was in the Porsche is the one that's now in this vehicle. I did a little bit of musical chairs with my music source. I bought 2 brand new Pioneer head units for the Crown Vic and the Porsche. I put the Porsche head unit in the truck, and I took the one from the truck and I put that in my girlfriend's car. Got a pretty view though. 5-speed manual, which is nice. That knob comes off, which is not so nice. It comes off easily. Got to fix that. The horn no longer works. It worked when I got it, which makes it better than a couple other vehicles I own. Also, the cruise control no longer works. The horn decided to melt down on me. Well, it actually melted down on a friend of mine. I loaned this truck to him so he could move, and in the middle of the night, the horn just started going off. He had to come out and pull the fuse. The fuse for the horn should not control cruise control, but the cruise control currently doesn't work, and I just haven't had a chance to really get in and see what's going on. One thing that I will say about this vehicle is that the air conditioning in this vehicle works unlike every other Ford's air conditioning in that it works the way it's supposed to. Just like most Fords, you got low and you've got high. Low being, why'd you bother? High being, you better tie yourself down. This vehicle, though, allows you to go to setting 3, setting 2, setting 1, and each one has its own different fan speed. It's astonishing. I've never seen one that actually works properly. Also, it is cold. Like, it is diesel truck cold, and I love it. So happy. And I've got cup holders, which already puts me in a league above the Crown Vic, who pay no attention to that. So we've got the 2 cigarette lighter ports. One is actually just for power, as you can see. The other one is the actual cigarette lighter. I don't smoke, so don't use that. This is pulled out a little bit. If it were to push all the way in, it would turn itself on and stay on. Fords have continuous power to their hot points, and I don't feel like draining the battery. I don't drive this vehicle that much. The dash cam is also permanently wired in so that it will record even while parked, which helps you with hit and run situations, but I will have to unplug it to keep the vehicle from draining its battery while parked. So this wire coming out here is the USB input for the head unit. The previous head unit just had a plug on the front. This one goes to the back. It allows me to do Apple CarPlay or control my iPod. If you look inside this little pocket here, you will see a switch. The switch controls the undercar lighting, which we will see near the end of this video, because currently the sun is out and that would be sort of a waste of time. A couple things to talk about here in the back. This right here is an eBay special Chinese crappy, cheap backup camera. And, oh, wow, the bracket's already starting to rust. Okay. It cost maybe, I don't know, $11, $12. It works. It works pretty good, actually. Pan down under here, you'll see the Reese tow hitch, which is a Series 3 tow hitch, which is good. It'll do what I need it to do for now, though down the road, I'm going to need to get a stronger hitch to pull multiple vehicles. As you can see, it lights up when the car is in reverse. Wait, it's in reverse and I'm behind it. Oh my God. So this is Florida and I bought a pickup truck. You'd think good old boy, but I'm not. I don't go mudding. I've ridden in a vehicle doing it once. I will admit there is some fun to that, but at the same time, there's also a part of my brain going, what is the point? Don't get me wrong. I don't begrudge anybody who has the fun that they have doing that. Find your thing and enjoy it. I don't care that this thing's 2-wheel drive. Yeah, again, this is just for towing, and it's for towing in Florida where it's just flat. So I think actually the 2-wheel drive is better in that situation for towing. It does have the all-terrain tires, which is nice, and if I ever really wanted to go off-roading with it, I'm sure I could take it on lighter trails. I don't have to worry about damaging the body and the paint, but I'm just not that guy. Like I said, I'm more of a sports car guy. The undercar lighting for this vehicle is essentially just a kit from XK Glow. Once again, not a sponsor of my channel yet, with a few extra pieces. I had extra LED tubes and a handful of the LED pods that XK Glow sells for an expansion that I had planned for my Dodge. Now that the Dodge is dead, I honestly didn't know what I was going to do with those. So when the time came to do the lighting on this truck, I decided to add those to the kit and expand the amount of lighting. This allowed me to run lighting from the back of the front wheel all the way to the front of the rear wheel, instead of ending a foot or so before the wheel wells, which I can't stand the way that looks. It also allowed me to run a strip up the gap between the bed and the cab, which is something that I have never actually seen anyone else do. I get compliments on it constantly. I'm very happy with the way it came out. You'll notice that the wheel wells are quite empty of light, and that is going to be changed. The next video for this truck will most likely be me upgrading the lighting and adding lights to the wheel wells. Now, every single state has its own rules as far as lighting goes under your vehicle. In Florida, you cannot have blue visible anywhere under your vehicle while you are driving, and you cannot have red visible from the front of your vehicle. I've actually had to explain to cops a couple times that in a parking lot, I can use this blue and red flashing strobe pattern whenever I want to. I've had sergeants back me up on this. It's never really been an issue, but it's still nice to inform the local gendarme that they can't give me a ticket for this. I am in no way a legal expert, and you need to look at the laws in your own state before you do something like this. One pattern that I found extremely useful is this yellow and white strobe pattern that I have used multiple times in extremely foggy conditions. It makes your vehicle significantly more visible. So thank you once again for tuning in and listening to me talk about a truck that you don't own. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. Make sure you smash that like button and share this on your social media if you happen to know someone who would like to see this video or any of my other videos. I encourage you to get the word out. I'm trying to grow this channel, and it would be really nice if someday YouTube pays me enough money so that I can fix these things. Until then, as always, make sure you wear your seatbelt, and if you're ever in a strip club, tip your DJ.